Right, we are live. How are things, lads?
All right. Pretty good, yeah,
Shite,
not
yeah.
too bad.
Not great.
Terrible. And better.
Obviously, disappointing result yesterday. So we kind of just said we'd do a live tonight talking about the position. A lot of people saying online about Stephen Kenny. He's under a lot of pressure now, and a lot of comments saying that Kenny out and stuff like that. Obviously, what are your thoughts on the whole situation at the moment?
Who's gone first?
Who wants the floor? Who wants the floor?
All right, I'll go first. No, it's fine. Shall I go ahead?
Go for it.
All right. Well, my position is that we have been extremely poor in the last few games, but I don't think it has been as bad. Actually, that sounds completely contradictory. But what you got to take into account, I think, is yesterday against Wales. Like the way that we played, we did create chances. I know it's like a broken record at this stage, but we did create a good amount of chances. The difference was when Wales took it, and they've been doing that in their recent games. Like you even saw, like when Neco Williams scored like 96-minute winner, I think it was like against Bulgaria or for either one of them. But they've just been seen, like they seem to like grab those games out of nowhere, like grab 3 points out of nowhere. Where we've been like the complete opposite. Like we can dominate like for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, and we just don't have that end product. Like I don't know what it is really. I do think that like Adam Ida up front yesterday was like he didn't contribute a whole lot. I'm not sure if that's completely his fault. Like I'm not sure if he's getting like a lot of game time at Norwich at the moment. We did kind of miss, I think, that kind of player like Didsey, like who just kind of experienced head up top. Like even when James Collins came on, like he did like show a bit more. I felt like Ida was just a bit off the pace really. I mean, we didn't create like a huge amount of chances, but there was times like where it was good. But I do think like if we don't get a result tomorrow, or Wednesday even against Bulgaria, like I think it could be a bit of a problem for Stephen Kenny. You can't really justify not scoring a goal in like over 9-10 hours of football, really. So
was our last goal that we scored against Bulgaria? Is that the last goal we scored?
Yeah, it was 90 minute. The equaliser.
It's not a great stat, is it really?
No, it's really bad.
Yeah, it's like over 10 hours or 9 hours of football, like which isn't good at all, really. Like whatever way you look at it, and even though we have been playing okay, like we just haven't been grinding out the results. The players haven't been there. Like even like we've looked at the amount of players that we've been missing, like it's ridiculous. And I think we have like 12 or 13 now for tomorrow as well, which is like not ideal, but like I don't know, like we should be, especially like against like Bulgaria, the first time against Finland as well. We should have been grabbing something, like you know. So.
Yeah. What are the rest of your thoughts on the game?
It's frustrating because like you can clearly see that we the better the chances, we're just lacking in the final third. It's kind of one of those things. I think we just need to lower our expectations at this stage. Like someone sent in the thing saying that we've won 5 competitive games since 2017. Like obviously it was a big break in games and stuff, but that was under a manager who played long ball football or whatever, and then now we're playing under a manager who's playing good football, and the results still aren't coming. So I think it's the players at the end of the day. You have to look at it in terms of him being under pressure. I think there's no doubt you have to say he's under pressure. Like you can't go that many games without only scoring 1 goal, not winning any games. Like you can't. Like if it was any other manager and she was playing this kind of football that maybe Mick was playing or whatever, there's no doubt about it. Like he'd be getting slayed on Twitter all the same. Like in my opinion, I want to see him do well so badly that I do want him to get more time, but at the end of the day, there is a point when you're going to have to look at it and say, is he the right man for the job? And the problem with international management, it's so, like, if he loses 3 games as a World Cup qualifiers, we're done. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can't qualify then. It depends on who we play, obviously. If we lose games to, like, one of the better teams, like, say we get something like a Germany or a Portugal or France or something, like, then maybe we still have a chance. But it's you have to, like, you only have a certain amount of time with the team or whatever. You have to win the games that you have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Soccer, Liam, do you want to jump in? What were your thoughts?
Liam? From my point of view, like you can clearly see he's trying to implement his style of football, but going off what like Tig just said there, you don't get that much time in international football because it just comes around and then you have 3 games, 4 games in a row. That's it. Like you don't really have much training sessions. But going off like our goal scoring is just we can't buy a goal at the moment. And I saw a stat there earlier. It said in our last 20 games, there's been 10 goals, and 1 goal came from an attacker, which kind of just says it all, really.
Yeah.
But
dire, like.
Shocking. Like.
oh, dire. Like Shane Duffy saved us so many times with headers, but now he's out of form.
He needs to get out of the team, I think, at this stage.
Same like
our 2 most reliable players over the last 3 years are Randolph and Duffy, probably, and they're both out of form. Like, really, Randolph hasn't been playing club football. Like, he's making mistakes that he wouldn't have made a year ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if you have to pick our strongest centre back partnership with everyone available, I think it's O'Shea and Egan now, though. I think Duffy, the way he's playing at Celtic, stuff like that.
Even
there's
a few headers that like Shane Duffy, like yesterday, like a
a
year ago, you'd bank on him at least hitting the target, like, do you know what I mean? So and I think with his dad and stuff, his dad died of like a few months ago, I think. He seems like he's been a bit out of form since then, but like even for Celtic, he hasn't been great. So I don't know. It's a shame, really. Like
the only real positive to come from last night, I feel, is that Jeff Hendricks put himself out of the next squad. Because the guy is
I really don't want to see him anymore on the team. I'm like,
and the worst part is he's a Premier League player. He's a Premier League player. Like, it blows your mind.
Though, is he plays bad. He plays bad week out for Ireland, or like whatever games he always seems to play bad. But he gets rewarded for it by getting 90 minutes every week. He plays the full game. This is the first game he didn't play the full games because he got sent up.
But even Newcastle fans are the same. Newcastle fans, I remember I was on Twitter and everyone was like, "What does Jeff Hendrick bring?" Like he brings there's no disrespect. He was a good player a few years, or like at least a decent player to have in the squad a few years ago. He's just been appalling recently. Like every single game we've watched recently, he's just been so bad. Like
I think that was actually his best game in a long time. Like he was so
and he was losing the head on the last 10 minutes. Like he lost the ball in midfield a good few times as well. Like
I think it's summed up where we're at the moment and the frustrations of the last 6-7 games when I think 10 minutes from time, 5 minutes, Hendrick decides to shoot from, I say, a 45, 50 yards.
And then kicks out at your man.
And about 2, I think the kick out at Dan James, was that before the shot?
It was just after the shot.
He lost the fucking ball.
And then he got sent off, which was mainly due to Jack Byrne's pass. But I think that just it popped into my mind today that maybe Jeff's been maybe we badly need to go so much that Hendrick says, "Fuck this, we're going to shoot from 50 yards." But yeah, I think there's a few things here.
Come on now.
What is he thinking though? Like the ball was coming out to him, and it was literally he was closer to the fucking halfway line, and he just goes shoots it into a crowd of players. Like
I don't know why.
If you Premier League footballer, like
if you only watch the Ireland games, you would think Jeff Hendrick is our worst player. You would think he plays in League Two. Like if you only watch Ireland games, how is the Premier League football judging off Ireland games? I don't know.
But coming back to Kenny, like I think there's a few things here. I sound like a broken record, like Griff at the moment, but it's another game when there are some positives. We had good possessions of play. We had the better of the chances, but just no end product, no dead finish in front of goal. No wins in 7 games. 1 goal is a really unwelcome stat for Kenny. And I suppose it's just how much you want to factor in the players we've been missing. Looking ahead to Wednesday, 12 of the 26 he named last week are now out. And I say that's at least like 11 starters.
There's something like eight Premier League players.
Maybe Bar and Malumbi possibly. That's like maybe full Ireland squad. Bar Randolph as well. Badly need a win on Wednesday. I think if we don't, never mind not score a goal, I think he'd be under a bit of pressure. Not as much pressure to make him question if he's up for the job or if he'll get sacked. I think it's far too early to be saying that, but there will be pressure if we don't get a result on Wednesday.
I think the Bulgaria at home.
I think in all fairness, he does have an excuse for not winning games. And it's not like we're playing outwardly that bad. Like we're not winning games, which is the most important thing. It's just I don't know. Just frustrating, man.
Really, one or two big players like to kind of push us over the edge, create chances. Like imagine we hit Grealish, like Just imagine.
I'm
No,
not
don't talk
going,
about that.
not going back to that. Not going back to that. But it, like,
Go on.
thanks. Like McLean and
Okay.
Stephen Kenny, they were pretty like upbeat after the Wales game. Stephen Kenny said, "I've no doubts. I'll be a success. We have a clear vision of what we want. We've had unprecedented circumstances affect us." And James McLean kind of said similar. He said it's clear what the manager wants us to do. There's just no final touch in front of goal. So it seems like all the players are kind of still buying into it. I know Matt Doherty did kind of not give out about Kenny, but he was a little bit critical. He said it's kind of embarrassing coming off the pitch sometimes. But God, a win on Wednesday would improve the mood no end.
I mean,
Yeah, Matt Doherty came across very
poor as well. Like, sorry, Ross,
Did he
he's
say
been
that?
poor
Sorry, yeah.
recently. Like,
I thought
Yeah.
Matt Doherty was their best player against England, to be honest.
Good man
England
of the
probably,
match.
yeah. But before that, he hadn't been great for Ireland, though. I didn't think.
No, he hadn't. No, he hadn't.
Um,
Maybe one
like-
good game or something.
Yeah, but he did come across kind of he like very, very frustrated after. I know it's just after the
Yeah.
game, so I have to take
Just
that
gonna put
into
everything- is
consideration.
that
but-
after the England game? It was. He said
After the
he
England
said
game,
He said something like
Yeah.
heads had dropped or something like that. Didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, he's very kind
which
of
is
vocal about stuff like
Very
that. Yeah.
Which and Kenny
A
said
little
he didn't have a
concerning.
problem with it. Didn't he? It's not really like. I'd rather it, to be honest. Like they
You'd
call
rather he
people
comes
out
out.
for it and
Yeah.
says like what's the story? Like we're losing 3-0 and people just aren't even giving a bollocks anymore. Like
Yeah.
I'd be sick of it if I was a player.
Yeah, he kind of
Okay.
brought that kind of like it was like a Mourinho-esque kind of vibe to him in the post-match interview because obviously playing there at Spurs at the moment. So he's kind of came out and said like it's the kind of standards he sets for the players around him, which is a good thing, I suppose. And I feel like he wouldn't have been like that last season. Maybe he seemed like more of a kind of
probably.
leader in the dressing room.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I found
So-
that Mourinho a lot at Chelsea when he was at both spells with Chelsea. He seems to give players a bit of balls about them and just like raise their levels. But I suppose Doherty is no reason to be embarrassed on Wednesday because he's out now. So yeah,
Some great mustaches there, that's Luke Joyce says.
It's all in honor of Movember.
you get the
if
questions in. Yeah.
If you want to donate, yeah.
But in
Yes.
terms of like obviously we got a few call ups there today because of the COVID cases and stuff like that. But the likes of Parrott coming in over Obafemi or even Shane Long is kind of head scratching to me. I don't know what you make of that.
I can't wrap my
Shane
head
Long
around
must be
Shane
injured.
Long.
Shane Long must be injured.
Yeah, there must be an injury there. Like, does anyone hear anything about that now? Because like I
No.
can't wrap my head around how he's in the squad.
There was a little bit in the papers that he picked up an injury, but I wasn't sure if it was before or after the first squad was announced. But you'd think that he'd be called up even so there has to be an injury.
It's not like Parrott is fully fit. Like did
Sean
Parrott
McGuire's
He's
called
come
up
back
last
from
week as
injury.
well. So
Did Parrott come on against Iceland?
He came
for
on,
21? He came
like
on,
last half an hour or so.
No, I wasn't sure if he came on or not.
yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I don't think Parrott will get much. Like he won't come on at all on Wednesday. I wouldn't say. I'd be surprised to
he's
see
probably
him
just a
in the
backup.
future.
Like,
I'd say
Yeah.
he won't come on. Like I think you'd rather kind of take him out of the 21 squad because if he's only going to play half an hour for them, rather than take someone out that would be playing 90 minutes for the 21s and then not give them a game for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
Kenny in or Kenny out, lads? If so, who else would you bring in? I think everyone's Kenny in.
That's exactly the question. Any like sane person is Kenny in. Anyone with a bit of sense like should be Kenny in. And that's exactly the question. If so, who else would you bring in? Most people saying Kenny out. You say, okay,
Allardyce.
that's your opinion. What's your alternative? People love to give out, but they've no solutions. Like, so I'd love to hear people's alternatives if they're saying Kenny out. I think it's far too early to be saying that.
I do think people have a right to be frustrated though. There's no way you can look at like our last performances and obviously even if we're playing okay, like we're not winning games, we're not getting points even, not even on goals. Like you can't expect people to just sit there and take that. Like
I accept that.
If it was any other manager, like what I'm saying, if it was any other manager, I think they'd be gone by now.
Yeah, I accept that, but I think
I'm not
it's fair
saying
to
out.
say
I don't think people should be saying to sack him. I don't think that. I think he should be kept in. Like I think he deserves it. And he has been dealt a raw hand in all fairness, but things have been going on, and you can see there is something like we're building towards something. But at the end of the day, then there has to be a point when you do question it. Like, do we say, oh wait, we'll sack him when it's too late and we've already missed another qualifying campaign? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair enough. My problem is people saying after a bad result or a few saying Kenny out straight away when they should be doing, if they're frustrated, and I'm as fucking frustrated as anyone else, critique his team selection or his substitutions or his tactics. Do you like critique something constructive? Like a lot of people just saying Kenny out is kind of like, okay, well, what did you think about the match? What did you think about his substitutions? Like, the first thing they say and the easiest thing to say is just Kenny out, but they can't expand further than that, I suppose.
No, I definitely agree with you there. Yeah, no, I like if you're kind of you watch football, you kind of know that he does deserve like the time he's getting and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I reckon he's definitely going to get to the World Cup qualifiers either way. I think like he won't be like, even if we get
he won't be
bad result tomorrow, like even if he won't be sacked. Like but it is that thing where they're like, if we start off our campaign and we don't get any points in the first two games, like then we're kind of like we're in trouble. You know what I mean? So it's obviously going to depend on who we're drawn against and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of that question, like, do we, like, if we're identifying a problem, you get rid of it now? But I think to be fair, it's still very early days. He's had a rough hand, like in terms of the injuries and stuff, like, and he's been unlucky. Like we've been unlucky, not especially against like Slovakia. Like we were really unlucky. So I don't know. Like
from my point of view, you go on.
I was just saying there's a long list. Obviously, someone's just said a few names there of just some of the names that we are missing, and it is like a lot of starters that we are missing.
All starters.
Nearly. Yeah. What are you saying, Liam?
Just from my point of view, like I've been a season ticket since like Trapattoni era, so like I've sat through awful like 0-0s, just hoofing the ball, and it's actually like it's obviously frustrating at times now because like we just can't score, but you can clearly see he's implementing his style. And then obviously with the likes of so many players out that are just first team starters, it is like it's a bit of a ridiculous question that people are even asking at the moment because he's only had a handful of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would always be of the the opinion that I do agree with you. Like I've actually enjoyed watching some of these games up until obviously then we concede late or whatever. It's frustrating, but like at the end of the day, if we played hoofball and won the World Cup, I wouldn't give a rat's ass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd happily win the World Cup playing hoofball.
Yeah.
Wonder whoever, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because whenever I don't think
it's easy to complain about like oh, we're playing bad football when we're losing, but if we were playing bad football and winning games, like no one was complaining when we went to the Euros. You know what I mean?
Will we ever compete with the likes of England in our lifetime playing nice football? That's just what you have to ask yourself.
It'll take hundreds of millions of pounds of investment, like
and just even
Euros and population. But we've seen like other countries, Iceland do really well in the Euros. Countries with a similar population to ours who invest in their setup properly, investing in the Nations League properly, doing well. So it's probably a question of investment, I suppose.
Maybe, yeah. The team against... Sorry, go ahead, Griff.
That was just like the way the FAI has been run the past few years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how badly we've been funded. Like, we're already like at a disadvantage, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to stay positive.
Just a little point. Sorry, Ty was saying that at the defensive football, the Guardian podcast made a very good point, saying that when you have a really short international window, Kenny has like 1 or 2 training sessions before a match, possibly. It's much easier to implement a defensive like approach or setup. It's really easy to work from the bottom up and play a low block and defend. What's really hard to do and takes much longer is go the opposite way and go top down and try play attacking football and then kind of maybe worry about the defense afterwards. So the easy approach, I'd say, is a defensive approach. But Kenny's in it for the long haul, I suppose.
At the end of the day, we're not playing bad defensively. Like we're not conceding many goals. Like a stupid mistake against Finland away cost that goal.
The one through the middle, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was Randolph and just gave it away. Like it was just stupid. And then I mean, Finland at home, that was just
Finland at home, even.
So, occasionally the defense, but in this case, like we should be scoring goals at home to the point where we're not losing games 1-0. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a 0-0 against Wales at home as well. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy. We could have scored and nicked it, like, but we're not scoring goals.
Yeah. And someone said here, the team against Slovakia in the playoff was probably the closest to full strength, but obviously missing Connolly to COVID and Coleman to injury gives
And
Kenny a
Ida.
chance with a full squad.
Connolly and Ida.
Yeah,
I did as well,
we
yeah.
definitely
Like-
could have done with Connolly in that game. I think at least off the bench, maybe.
yeah.
Even.
And Coleman
Like, you
is
have to
just-
give Kenny a chance, really do, because like look at Michael O'Neill and even Steve Clark with their national setups. They took ages to implement their style and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people wanted Steve Clark on as well, real early on, because he didn't have. I don't think he had the greatest start with Scotland. Like, so I don't know. What Scotland had done as well. Like, even though they've got the better players, like than we have to do at the moment. Like hopefully if we get on a par with them, like, I don't know. The next qualifying campaign will definitely be interesting. Like, do you know?
Yeah, the World Cup qualifying campaign is the big one, isn't it? Because hopefully we'll have a full squad to pick from for the most part, and
Yeah,
a lot
of those
of the
players getting older as well.
Exactly, yeah, the likes of Darragh O'Shea, Malumbi, maybe Parrott, Ida. Might still be a little bit too early for maybe them, because Ida, I remember yesterday, it didn't look ready at all for international football, doesn't he? Not, I don't think, for
At the
senior
end of the day,
football.
Ida gets 30 minutes every week against like. for
Yeah,
Norwich.
it's tough,
I mean,
isn't it? It's tough.
It's hard to come in and then be expected to make things happen. Like, do you know what I mean?
He's had-
Yeah. Go on, Liam.
He's had like 8 appearances this season, and half of them have been in the Ireland camp. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Ida. I think it was possibly Ida didn't have a great game, but I thought that what overshadowed it was James Collins got a lot more ball into him and kind of shot without even look. I think he had two shots and a header.
Shots were very poor. Like, do you know what I mean?
2 shots and a header in 5 minutes without look. The 2 of them shots, there was a really, really good through ball and maybe one more, and we had a goal. Whereas Ida wasn't as eager to score, but was more eager to like play that pass or kind of hold the ball up. So I think he didn't have a great game, but I don't think he got a whole lot of ball into him. And James Collins' kind of rash shots overshadowed it.
Yeah. Someone asking here the starting 11 for Wednesday. We're going to do a separate video talking about that, a little preview, probably come out tomorrow.
Fair today, I'm got a clue.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Like,
We need
take
to
a long time thinking through it. Like,
digging out who's actually in the squad at this stage. Like.
guts of our defense is gone. Like,
Yeah, no, the
I
guts of our
think
squad is
Jason
gone,
Knight will
really.
get a run out. Surely, Jason
Think so,
Knight.
yeah.
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially when
Hendrick
he came
gone.
on. Yeah, Hendrick
Like
Allen,
Adam Brown's missing. Hendrick's gone. Like, we don't have much in midfield.
Jack Byrne.
Jack Byrne, like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that'd be good as well, because like even though he did like do a poor pass that led to Hendrick getting sent off, you could see he just brings a bit more spark, like driving the ball forward. Like,
Yeah, he also put a great ball in, like it into Collins there. It was a hard header to like a hard chance, like, but it was a great ball in from Jack Byrne. Do you know what I mean? He is up for it. I think he is at that level.
Definitely. A lot of people are saying stuff like there's no alternative to Kenny and he deserves time and stuff. There's not many people in the comments saying that he doesn't deserve time, which is kind of good to see, considering when you click on a video, a picture on Instagram, all it is you see is Kenny out and all the likes and stuff.
See, our fans watch League of Ireland and stuff and have a bit of patience and stuff. I mean, a lot of these people just see a manager come to the League of Ireland and probably don't know like
but it's
who
just
he is
kids
or
as well,
what he's
on
done or what he's
Instagram,
capable
like,
of.
Yeah.
on Instagram, it's just kids, and like if like anyone can like a fucking comment, like it means nothing really, like, do you know. And I think the problem with Twitter and Instagram and all these social medias is they give a very, very skewed account, like, and like you don't really get like a proper basis of facts and how things really are a lot of the time, because they're skewed by numbers and whatever, do you know. So,
I couldn't agree more. Like, social media is not a great barometer of like where your support is. I think another big factor is that Stephen Kenny hasn't managed a senior Ireland team with a crowd yet. So I think there's a chance he could cut a lonely figure on the sideline. Whereas if we had like a packed Aviva, like possibly like singing his name, I think a lot of the media and a lot of the fans would be feeling different. I think that's a miss as well.
You can say that for every team, though, can't you? Every team's in the same
It could
position.
also go the other way. Like if we were getting those results and there's fans there, like the unrest and stuff in the stadium and all, like it wouldn't help.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Very easy. There's a lot of players that crumble under that. Like
this Bulgaria game, the fans would be very tense and expectant of a win. Like, so
Mhm.
it might be nearly. I don't know. It's hard to know, isn't it? Yeah.
if you remember the Nations League games that we played under O'Neill, like the atmosphere was absolutely dire in Levy, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't good. Like no one really cared about it at that much then. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Iceland don't have a similar population to us. They have 400,000 people less than South Dublin.
I'm pretty sure like when they went to the Euros, it was like a quarter of their fucking country went to the Euros or something.
They beat us yesterday as well.
Which reinforces my point even more that like countries with smaller like an eighth of our population is doing better. I suppose.
Just going off this comment here, watching the under-21s yesterday, they just completely shot themselves in the foot, like because they needed 2 wins, and they obviously got one back, and you thought, oh, surely they're going to push on. Then Nathan Collins gets sent off, and then it's just not great all around for Ireland fans at the moment.
A bit of a dire day.
The under-21s are decimated though, like even Jason Knight, Dara O'Shea, and all.
Ronan
all
Curtis.
taken out of the team. Ronan Curtis, he wasn't in the under-21s, was he? I don't think. But there was a good few taken out of the under-21s for the senior side, so it doesn't help. Jason Rogers says, still so early in the transition to a new style of play. Kenny could easily switch back to the way we used to play and will look solid at the back, but this is not sustainable. Will only get us so far.
See, my thing, as I said before, we are solid at the back. Like we're not conceding a lot of goals. Like. And like they come from like the occasional mistake. It's the final third we're woeful. Like, like the quality of ball and stuff. Like you could point fingers at Ida yesterday, but like, did he really get a good ball into the box? Bar maybe one or something.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't like. It's not that he didn't play like he played badly. It was just like I think we're just still missing like Robbie Keane or something. Man, when Robbie Keane played, you could always guarantee he'd get like a goal or he'd do something. You know, if he got a chance, he'd hit the target. Where I feel like we don't have that player at the moment. Like we just don't. Even if you look at like some of like we can maybe look at Conley, who's like probably one of our brightest like prospects at the moment. He's not really an out and out striker. Like we don't have someone who we can rely on for a goal. Even when Ditsy scored 1 goal for us, like that was against Switzerland. Like, you know, like we just don't score goals. It was a brilliant goal.
He did a lot of work off the ball as well. That like. That's why I think he got kind of like a lot of.
Yeah, he's the same for Sheffield as well.
He does the same for Sheffield.
Like you see him playing for Sheffield United. He's back playing like in centre mid at some stage. Like he just drops back so deep, pick up the ball.
He's very good on the ball. Like he's very good.
He's really good. Yeah. It's a shame that he's retired. Like, could have done with him for these two. These
super on the ball. It was his run through the middle that created that chance. It was Hurahan or Brown missed it, like the open goal cleared off the line.
Slovakia, it was Hurahan missed that one.
Yeah, it was Didzy's run through the middle that drove that. And throughout that game, he was like almost in our box, like bringing the ball out of defense. Super on the ball. Big miss. Now he's retired.
Watford had 4 managers last season. People will look at scenarios like that and think that's what football is about, trigger happy sackings.
Well, that club seems to be a bit of a shambles. Like,
exactly.
Their squad was good enough to stay up. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, compared to some teams that did at the time. Like,
it's at the moment the FAI as well, the financial position we're in. We don't have the fucking capacity to be hiring managers as well. You know. Well, I think to be fair, one of the reasons that Kenny was hired was because it was a cheaper option. But,
absolutely, yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Like, we're getting a bailout from the government. Like, if we fire Kenny, who are you going to hire? Like, you know,
I'm not sure about that. When was Kenny announced? Was it 2018?
As after that, last year.
It was a cheap option.
This is a succession plan.
Yeah, it was like 2018, I'd say, because Ireland were still playing. Like, he was still managing the under 21s. Like,
so that would have been before the financial situation of the FAI.
To be fair, just because it was published, the FAI knew themselves. Like,
we're still in debt. Like,
the FAI would have known themselves that they couldn't have been hired.
It's grand though. As John Delaney said, we're supposed to be debt free by 2020, so it's fine. We're fine.
But didn't Mick McCarthy get a bonus for leaving before the Euros as well? Like,
oh yeah,
probably.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, that whole succession plan. I mean, we could talk about that for fucking hours. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but do you think that Mick should have stayed on for like the Slovakia? Obviously, Kenny was contracted to come in. Like,
I think for the Euros, Mick should have stayed on. I think definitely.
Yeah, probably.
I think so as well.
First, he didn't make the Nations League game before that.
Kenny didn't get to have his
Just
like
not
his
enough time
21
now.
campaign. He just completed his 21 campaign, like which was the whole point. He was supposed to have that and then come in. Like I thought.
Because they're trying to change. Kenny's trying to change the style of play with the same players, like the Hendrick, Duffy, that aren't like comfortable on the ball, or well, like to whatever extent, like the players coming through might be. So obviously those players need more time to adapt to it. Like so, I think the likes of Hendrick and stuff, they're such dead wood. Like they're never going to be able to play the style of football Kenny wants to, like long term. So I think Nick McCarthy can probably get the best out of the likes of Jeff Hendrick, like Sean Dyche did, and stuff like that. So I think for a one-off game, you'd back Nick McCarthy probably.
Yeah, that always frustrated me. I always thought like they should have found a way to extend it. No, obviously, you can't turn into Kenny and say you're getting the job in July, and then say, oh no, you can't get it now until next July. Like, it's obviously tough to do, but it is frustrating to see that like you're supposed to have this like couple of years or 21s, or whatever, and you just didn't really get it.
Yeah, the way it was actually planned would have been perfect. Like.
I'll just say just real quickly on that, like, is I do think it's kind of easy to say now, like, oh yeah, like you should have given it back to Mick, but like we played well against Slovakia. We should have beaten Slovakia. Do you know what I mean? We've drawn against them. I think like the fact that we had the penalties, we drew like the last 5 meetings or something. We drew with them, like, you know. So we're pretty even. Like, so I'm not sure like if that specific game Mick would have got much more. Like, I don't know. It's all hypothetical anyway. Like, but
absolutely,
I mean, the thing about international football is saying it's fine margins. Like you only have a couple of games, and like it's one chance. Just a whole outlook. Like, I mean, if we qualify for the Euros, like if we scored that one chance at Harrogate, like people wouldn't be talking about this at all. Like we could have lost all our Nations League games and just won that game and beat Northern Ireland, like, and people would have been delighted. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Full squad here, Ross. More available here than the Irish squad. There was 5 under-21s taken to the senior side. We were wondering that earlier on, but it's like that's decimated. Yeah.
Do you think there's such a like emphasis now on the success of them under 21s coming in and just hitting the ground running and just being like the future? Because it's kind of worrying that like there's so much on like the likes of Aaron Connolly, even Troy Parrott coming in and just hitting the ground running and scoring all these goals that we're going to get. Supposedly,
I'd be less worried about Connolly because he's a Premier League player. You'd be expecting him to do well now because he's starting in the Premier League most of the time. Like whereas Parrott, injured in the Championship, it's kind of remains to be seen how he gets on there. Ida isn't starting in the Championship, so maybe Jason Knight as well. Like in the Championship, they're still kind of developing. You feel, but I think Connolly is at the stage where he should be kind of delivering a little bit on the international stage. I feel anyway.
I think he's played well pretty much every time he's played for some fairness, Connolly. Like,
I'm not saying he hasn't.
I really like watching him because he's got that selfishness. Like you can see like some of the chances he takes shots and stuff when like. Maybe he might not be on, but I'd rather kind of see that because he's like looking for goals, like whether we haven't had that in a while, like someone lethal in front of goal.
Totally agree. There was 2 shots against Bulgaria and 1 against Finland a few days before he was out with the Slovakia game that he looked very quick and like exactly I think what we're missing in front of goal.
Yeah, definitely.
There's the other kind of player that is put into that category as well, who we'd be kind of relying a lot on, and I just keep going on about him. We keep going on about him, but it's Jason Malumbi, obviously, like, and he's been like he's played very well for us every time he's played, but like he needs to get out of Brighton, really, to be honest. He's starting regular game time. He's definitely at Championship starting level, if not higher. Like just based on what I've seen, like, and even like it was Millwall that he was on loan with last year, wasn't it? Like, He played like 40 odd games for them. Like, I mean,
that says nearly got the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like that says enough, really. Like,
he needs to be playing games. It's a shame he's there, to be honest, isn't it? Like, it's because he's more than good enough. You feel to be playing. Like maybe another year in the Championship and he'd be ready for the Premier League. Then you feel so. It's a shame that he didn't get out. But maybe he's kept on for a cover.
If Jeff Hendrick is a Premier League footballer, then Jason Malumbi should be too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What's Jason Malumbi's best position, do you think? In the midfield, like is he more of a centre defensive midfielder?
I think it depends on who's with him. Like it depends on who's there beside him. Actually, if you have James McCarthy there, he's not going to be going box to box like James sitting and then Malumbi on one side and I don't know Harron or something on the other. Like.
Yeah. Mark Brennan says Hendrick isn't good enough for the Premier League, and Ida is out of his depth too.
I kind of agree. Well, definitely agree with you with Hendrick, but it's hard to know. Like I don't know. Like he's only playing 30 minutes a week or so, like for Norwich. So maybe he isn't like up to it yet.
just not yet. I mean, the guy's still 19 as well, like, and he's been thrown in, like, expecting to lead the line against like a very good Wales team, like. So it's a lot to be expected, especially when you're not getting game time at such a young age. Hendrick, though, Hendrick's past it. He's been past it for a while. Like,
since year 2016, the guy's been finished.
he's just shy. Like, he contributes nothing. He loses the ball. He doesn't have the head for it anymore.
It's not even that he contributes nothing. I don't mind Howard because like Howard might not like do a whole lot. Gives the ball away and puts us in compromising positions. Like the amount of times he gives the ball away, and you're like, we could be going forward here. And it's so frustrating.
I think people forget how a lot of people forget how close we were to conceding after his shot from 50 yards. It was an unbelievable save by Darren Randolph.
Yeah, for
really,
a keeper that's been out of confidence, like.
Yeah, exactly. There was 5 minutes at a time, and it was 5 minutes before the 90. So we were that close to giving the game up. Like with 10 minutes to go, we might have got a late goal, possibly. And then the kick at Dan James was stupid. So I think his head was gone.
He's desperate. Like I'm so sick of him, to be honest. Like every game I watch, I say the same thing. It bemuses me how he plays 90 minutes every game. Like, because he actively negatively affects the team. It's not like it's a player like Howard who doesn't actually do anything like that wrong, or like Ida who like might have like a bad game, doesn't get like many chances or whatever. He actively gives the ball away, puts pressure on our defense. I don't know. I'm sick of him. I don't think he should start for anymore. If we're not playing against him March, like I'd be surprised if he starts again. Like.
Yeah, even Jeff Hendrick's teammate Callum Robinson, who we were missing at the moment, Jack Byrne created more in 10 minutes than Hendrick in the last 4 games.
True. That's very. I was very impressed by Jack Byrne when he came on. He made 3 super passes straight away before the. Before
getting Hendrick sent off.
Before the hospital pass, but
that was genius. It's genius from Jack Byrne. It's exactly what we needed.
That's what he's done. Like.
Jack Byrne be starting on Wednesday because of that. It was his plan all along. No, and it'd be great to see McAniff and Graham Burke together. Graham Burke scored for Ireland too, I'm pretty sure, before.
Yeah, he did.
It'd be good to get a run out from them.
In New Zealand, was it?
I think so.
I think America, I think might have been actually.
But it was
America.
We need a conveyor belt. Irish Footy Vlog says so. A few good players every year from under 21s, etc. We are developing a style at underage that Kenny is trying to implement at senior level. I see him as a transitional manager, to be honest. Yeah, that's spot on.
I think it's spot on as well, because it's especially in a time where like we don't have the players at the moment. Like, so if we're not getting those like world class players, or we're not world class, but like, you know, Premier League players, like high level players, like we had even a few years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, then we do kind of need to implement a style of play, like where you'll have players coming in under 21s, and even if they're playing at Championship League 1 level, they'll know how to play, and they'll be bought into the style. So yeah, I agree with it. Even you see, like when we played Georgia last year, even though Georgia, like obviously they don't have the players at all, really, like they were playing good football, like, and we didn't play well against them, but like they kind of had it style play implemented, like, and played much better football and lost some great chances. You know what I mean? So that's it's interesting.
In terms of being a transitional manager, it is tough. Like it's easy to say, and like it is about patience with him, but like it is frustrating for people like us. Like we were 4 during 3 or 4 during 2002, like, so we haven't seen a World Cup. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and another transitional manager, like why not see a World Cup till 2026?
Losing the best years of my life here, like.
Like what's frustrating. Like we qualified for 2 tournaments, and one of them was an absolute disgrace. Like we write off. Like it wasn't necessarily our fault. Like we played Croatia.
Tig made a very good point a while ago where Tig said, and he said it before, he'd rather play kind of defensive football if it means we qualify for tournaments. So I guess it's all about opinion and just the balance between that. Like there's no doubt that kind of playing that sort of football, Tig said earlier, Martin O'Neill got us to a European Championships, which we did pretty well in, all things considered, and 88 minutes away from a World Cup. So it's proven to work, I suppose. It's just 88 minutes. We couldn't hold on.
We scored too early. Like that was what they were saying
about lowering expectations. Like Denmark are a good team with had a world class player. He's maybe past his prime at the time, but like should we be expecting to qualify for these tournaments anymore? Like or do we have the players to do it? Like, but you look at it and you say we have 8 Premier League players, and there's teams like who's the team from the Nations League D that qualified? Was it to beat Georgia? Macedonia, like they're in the Euros.
Yeah.
You think we should be qualifying? Like,
yeah.
Maybe it's tactical to get relegated down to League C, so we can maybe win the playoff next year.
The thing is, I was looking at who's in Group C earlier. Like, I'm not sure who's going to go up. Like, but there's one or two teams that like I wouldn't for like Slovenia are in there, like who we'd probably fucking lose against. Like, there's like, I mean, like all this stuff. Like, geez, we'll just get relegated, then we'll get promoted. Like I wouldn't fancy out like doing like back-to-back away trips to Kosovo and Serbia, like Serbia, not Serbia, like Kosovo and North Macedonia and all these places. Like, so I don't know.
I think John Knox has just summed up what I just said. what I tried to say in the nicest possible language. You just summed up what I just said.
Dead right, like.
Brilliant. Callum Robinson chimes in again. Hope he's recovering well. People seem to forget that under Mick, we also struggle to. Is it Callum Robinson with COVID? Is that what he is?
Yeah.
Or is he?
Like they're all riddled at this stage. Like,
he has COVID.
Him and Alan are good mates, but no close contacts.
Yeah, we've had 3 cases of no close contacts. Like,
yeah, so stupid. Like,
sharing a picture of 21 men for a game.
I get a word in here. Like.
Go on.
Just want to read Callum's comment here. People seem to forget that under Mick, we also struggled to score and played terrible football. I'd rather lose trying to play the right way and then lose lumping the ball to James Collins all game.
I 100% agree with you. Like, my point is that we made it to the Euros with Martin O'Neill, and people were complaining about the style of football. We weren't complaining about the style of football until we started losing games in the Nations League after. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose games at all. But if we're gonna lose, at least want to fucking look like we could have won the game. That Georgia game away, was absolutely diabolical. Like the one with James Collins up top was one of the worst games I've ever watched. Like,
that was shocking. Yeah, that was shocking. That was dreadful. We're gonna go. If we had
won that, would we have made it to the
Georgia game? I think we would have.
I think we would have qualified.
We were close. Yeah, I think we were.
Because we ended up drawing with Denmark, so we would have made it to the playoff.
That's disgusting. I think it might have been level.
So sad.
That Inter-Island trip.
That is a game. No, that was danger. Yeah, we were meant to go to Russia.
Fuck it.
Russia.
Nobody wants to be at a World Cup in Christmas anyway, so it's fine.
That's the thing. Like, even if we qualify, we won't be able to go. Qatar, what fucking college to do? Like, I'll be in final year. November 2022.
Excuses.
Absolutely dire. Like, if you're going to Qatar, you're not going to go for one game. Do you know what I mean? You're going to go for the whole thing.
Is there drink there?
No,
I think they're changing it so that you can drink in the zones or whatever. Yeah. I remember if you watched the Gary Neville thing about it, I strongly recommend watching it. It's hilarious, because the way they just absolutely line through their teeth till them, it's so funny.
The Guardian did a very good piece about it. I'd point everyone towards. You'd think twice about. Obviously, your country might qualify, but geez, you'd think twice about spending money over there with some of the stuff that's going on.
Not even just that. Did you see the one in the Gary Neville thing? It's like some fella, one of the refugees brought over to build or something, and he didn't get some of the money back that he was supposed to get back or something, and Gary Neville had to ask for it back. You just don't know what happened to him after. You know what I mean? How many other people is there that Gary Neville had to ask for him to get the money for I think it's repatriation fees for coming over there or whatever. And there's other things when Gary asked them about the if they respect gay rights over there and stuff like that, they just kind of oh well, we have our customs, you have to respect ours. And I was like, no, not at all. It's not okay.
Shocking. But we do have to go film our preview for the Bulgaria game. So I think we'll leave it there, guys.
Shouldn't take too long.
But we do appreciate you all joining in, and if you can drop a like on the stream and subscribe as well, it is greatly appreciated. Thanks for joining me, lads, and
thanks, guys.
See you later.
Kenny in.
Kenny in, babe.